It is 9 o'clock right now here in Los Angeles. Going to be a 9:01 shortly. And it's Thursday, the 8th of August, AD 2024. And we're going to have a fun, loosey-goosey, the Hake Report show. Everybody, I'm live on YouTube and Rumble, I do believe. Oh, let me kick on my my IG. See how long it lasts, you know. What's up, D-Live crew? I should be live on Facebook. We're going to have a fun show, though. I hope. You know, I think I have some things I wanted to cover. You know, the past couple of days, I've had some fiery calls. Interesting calls with Alex from California and Mark from Los Angeles. Fired up. Either quietly fired up, like a spiritual anger, but he's recanting that word anger. Hey, Bethany, over there on the Facebook crew. Over the stabbing. Now there were riots, and they were trying to burn down. They being I don't know who, somebody was burning down hotels. It might have been communists. You know, a lot of the church fires. You know how the KKK supposedly set black churches on fire? A lot of those were set by communists, according to research from one of the guys from Uncle Tom, Chad O. Jackson. He said that they were communists who were setting those fires. And I wouldn't put it past the communists to fake some hate crimes, fake some right-wing hate crimes, you know, the anti-white propaganda for the sake of propaganda. Because as Vox Day has said, who's been on the JLP show a couple of times, SJWs always lie. Indeed they do. I'm live on punchy.tv, by the way. That's fun. Nice shirt as always. That's kind. Too kind, perhaps. But it's a... people do fall into the trap of anger and do wrong things. Yeah? True. So, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about it. And the whole notion that we're even bothered by the events from overseas. Or the events from the next town over. You know what I mean? Hake is doing revisionist history. The fires were well documented. Well documented as communist, done by communists. I don't think Chad O. Jackson would just make something like that up. Nor would he fall for somebody to just make something like that up. Take your beef with Chad O. Jackson. Based Chad Jackson. Based Chad. What's up, Ohio Sentinel? There was some other stuff I wanted to talk about. Oh, yeah. Space is fake, after all. Space is fake. It's fake news from space.com. That's what I mean. Space is real, and it's cool, and it's morally straight. But it's not the news about it, about these astronauts. They're not stuck in space. You're splitting hairs with the word stuck. They're stuck. They're supposed to be there 10 days. They've been stuck up there for 2 months, and it may be stuck another September, October, November, August. September, October, November, December, January. They may be stuck another 5 months for Elon Musk's SpaceX to come save them, because Boeing's Starliner and NASA can't finish the job. So they're stuck. Out of an abundance of caution, we're not bringing them home. That means they're stuck while you're cautious. And I'm glad you're cautious, because I don't want those astronauts to die. Anyway, so that's my rant for the day. Bye, guys. No, I'm kidding. Oh, the green cutout. I think he fiddled with it, maybe. All that and your calls, guys. But anyway, everybody. Thanks, Nick. I'm like taking forever. Let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing another nice shirt, although it is short sleeve, so nice is debatable, right? I wear all these shirts on Sundays, and nobody gets to enjoy them except those who check out JLP's or Bond's IG Live. So, Instagram Live. So I'm like, hey, I used to wear nice shirts on the show. Joel Friday sometimes might recall. He could attest. Anyway, nice to see you guys. You can call in 1-888-775-3773, and I will try to get to all of you guys. And I also will read your super chats. Is the plan, you know? What's up, Danger Cobra? Cobra! Let me read this. I saw a chat over on Odyssey. I stream on Odyssey. Barely anybody watches there, but Out of Order posted there in the live chat there, saying, and I believe it's in response to my caller Mark in Los Angeles, who said that he would be out there with those protesters, those white men protesting in England, our English brothers, protesting against there's an invasion of sorts that's been allowed to go on for decades and decades, changing the face of England, changing the face of America, changing the face of all these countries. And they have not always, sometimes they're bringing problems. They don't become English in their hearts, and certainly not in their faces. They're bringing their issues, and sometimes they're brainwashed into anti-white malice and anti-Christian malice in many different ways, from their own upbringing, as well as the government, the anti-white, anti-Christian governments of America, of the United Kingdom, of all these other white countries. It's a mess. And many times there are terror attacks or other types of attacks, not from the immigrants, but from their children. The second generation is more commonly terrorist, I've heard. Second generation. So Muslims come over here, and they're fairly well behaved. If they get citizenship, they're probably going to vote Democrat. But this immigrant's son, Omar Mateen, remember Omar Mateen? He shot up the Pulse nightclub. He was a second generation. He was born here, as I recall. And then this recent stabbing of the little girls. Those are little girls. They're all under like 9 or under. It was done by a guy who was born in Britain. Oh, it's disinformation to call him a migrant. A son of Rwandan refugees from the Rwandan genocide. Born in like 2006. He's 17-year-old, something like that. And he too. So you're bringing problems. Even if the parents are not a problem, the children become problems because children are more spoiled here. Here being in any white country. It's relatively nice, relatively peaceful. And then they also have all these temptations because they are different from the normal British, English whites. And so they're also raised differently and everything. I'm cracking a little bit. It's a problem. And so this guy agrees with Mark about the anger and rioting and I don't know exactly, I didn't really probe Mark's call as to what he really would be doing, but he's talking about, bringing people to justice who did this attack on these girls. One person did it, and we still don't know really why. And why are you caught up in it? This guy says, Out of Order in Odyssey says, he makes sense, Mark. Decades of hugs and kisses, moo, moo, moo. Refugees welcome, immigrants welcome. Whereas some of us are like, you know what this means? Not welcome. That's a reference to some dirty anti-white movie. Have created this mess. There is no protesting our way out. Oh, okay. So you agree there's no protesting our way out. Then you don't agree with Mark, because he would be protesting. There is no voting our way out, he says. There is no talking our way out, he says. Hashtag enough is enough. Hashtag rise up. Hashtag fight back. I might just delete your chat just for the sake of... I'm deleting your chat not because... I'm deleting your chat just to be safe. Out of order. Because you're a little out of order there. Hashtag rise up. Because you're right. There's probably no I agree with you, protesting doesn't work. I agree with you, for the most part, voting doesn't seem to work. We've been voting. Vote hard. And I agree with you, talking doesn't work. But it depends on the nature of your talk. Let your speaking be seasoned with, I don't know, doesn't the Bible say something about let your talking be seasoned with something? I chuckle, but I'm serious. It's in the Bible. Because all talking doesn't matter. If you're talking, depends on your spirit. Protesting depends on your spirit. Voting depends on your spirit. Because people are voting wrong. People are talking wrong. People are protesting wrong. Maybe there is a right way to protest. But there is no solution. You just have to deal with what is. I will get to this story from Booker T. Washington that I was looking at. It's Men's History Month. And you may hear some about Booker T. Washington on the Jason Lee Peterson Show coming up this month. Men's History Month. Happy Men's History Month. But I want to address how people's... Joe is right. Joe from Phoenix is right. People's minds get misdirected in all kinds of crazy ways. And he says representation matters. And I think that's... I didn't really know what he meant by that. Representation matters. You know, the Hake and Snake show is what my show is, right? Representation matters, Hake. This is interesting. And so he told me about this story, and I'll show it to you guys. Here's my notes here, guys. Hey, look at this. Hey, it's Ghost Hake. I'll do this. Okay, so this Max, what's his name again? Something Anderson? Maxwell Anderson, Wisconsin. He had me search up this thing. He planned to ill-K and dismember day this woman named Sade. Sade? Is it Sade or Sade Robinson? I don't know. But he hurt this gal. Killed her, I think. Murdered. First date plot. Wait, what's happening? Oh yeah, it's opening. I can't see. Let me do this all the way. First date plot. Informant reveals what Anderson planned to hurt this woman. I'm censoring it, even though it says it right there. Don't read this, kids. Maxwell Anderson plotted a grisly crime, we'll call it, because this is too explicit for my taste. According to unsealed documents, allegedly planned to hurt this woman really badly and kill her. Rest in peace. I think he actually did it, right? Search warrants obtained by News 12. Pardon all these ads. Hake doesn't know anything. Told a friend he intended to kill this woman whom he recently met. Is that Sade, everybody? Because there's a singer named S-A-D-E, Sade, but it's Sade, right? Whatever. And showed a person in his room in his basement where he planned to do it. Horrific crime, right? The friend, according to the search warrant, also a confidential informant who has provided info to detectives in the past. Whoa. He took a friend to the basement of his home March 5th, blah, 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 Oklahoma Avenue, showed a room covered in plastic, painter tarp. Sounds kind of like those TV shows with those guys who are crazy, who do these, who serial kill for good. But this one is not good. The CI confidential informant stated the tarp was taped to the floor, blah, 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 blah. And so did this guy actually carry through with it? What a mess. Grisly evidence recovered. Seeking clues in the basement. Looking for tape residue, blah, blah, blah. He had been charged with first-degree intentional homicide and mutilating a corpse. So he actually went through and did it. Terrible, huh? So anyway, this guy did that thing. Some people did something. And what Joe from Phoenix's point about representation matters is that this white man just tore apart this woman. Literally. A white man dismembered and killed a black young lady. And I don't know what the black young lady did to get involved in this guy, with this guy. Somebody called in and said, somebody called into my show yesterday and said she was 19 and he's 33. She's black, he's white. What's going on? It doesn't seem like a wise situation to get yourself into. Not thinking that, I wouldn't imagine that you'd ever think that the guy would be planning such a thing as that. But it's not wise to get into that type of a situation anyway. No, it's not Sade the singer. Sade. But imagine if this were the big story that everybody was talking about. And everybody would be rioting over that. If they were hyping it, believe me, people would be all hyped, all crazy. Hey, don't joke. Oh my gosh. What's unwise about it? Hake, elaborate. It's unwise to get with somebody that much older. 10 years is like wiser. 10 years and less. And then a different race. And then look at the guy's face. We saw that. Oh, see, there's the guy's face. Oh, here, let me show you guys' face. Look at that face. Now, I know guys who look like this and they're fine. They're normal, I guess, whatever. But look at that face. First date murder and mutilation charges. Suspect held on $5 million bond. People are unwise and oftentimes it gets them into trouble. Allegations in the complaint are abhorrent. So maybe this story is going to start taking off. A lot of people who are into black victimhood are into these stories and they tell you all about it first. Marcus Jones, whom I banned from my chat because he's such a snake, was telling me, pushing me for days to talk about this Sonia Massey gal. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care. And then I talked about it finally and I got all these calls from you guys. Because everybody gets pulled in to whatever you focus on. Whatever their attention is put on, they get pulled in and they think it's important. These little 3 girls get killed by that stabbing attack by that 17-year-old young man, and I use the term man loosely, in UK. Doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with you. And it has little to do with the UK. People are mad about it. Part one, because we've had an invasion problem facilitated by the government. And 3, it's like all too common that they're problem people who do things like this. All too common. You could call it rare. You can say, actually, it's a tiny percentage, Hake. And it is, but it's something that never should have happened in the first place. He shouldn't even have been here or there. You know what I mean? So I get the irritation, but think about how manipulated you are just because you heard this story. Now you're influenced and now you think that you're a crusader. There's no comparison. The crusaders back then, weren't hot-headed individuals necessarily who just went on a mission from God in their imaginations. No, they had the whole government be supporting them, calling them, and encouraging them, go out there and you'll be absolved from your infighting, according to some caller who called me and told me that. They had the establishment behind them. We don't have the establishment behind us. Those of us who are not for this, the government being against the interests of the native white Americans or native Englishmen or native Australians or whatever. The government against the people. You have the government is against you. It's not going to do any good. You're manipulated by a story. And then me getting calls, it'll suck me in. You get pulled into fights that don't matter with your friends. With your friends. What you focus on seems important to you, but it's not important. What a mess. The government using division to fix the problem. To fix their problem of, these right-wingers are gaining power. Let's tempt them to lash out so we can clamp down more on them. These whites are starting to get some power. We need to trick them. We need to tempt them to do something foolish so we can clamp down on them. That's what's happened. January 6th, that's what happened. Charlottesville, that's what happened. People were excited about Charlottesville. They thought it was great. But then it turned out evil. So evil that our friend, the late, great Azzmador, had to go into hiding, or so he thought, I think, for the rest of his life. That's not good. What good did that do? Nothing. And he knew it, too. He knew it afterwards. You got to listen to cooler heads sometimes. Cernovich was warning, stay away from this. JLP was warning, stay away from this. Don't fall into the trap. It's so wild because I don't even think about those little girls. I'm like, oh, it's sad. Move on. And then some of you guys think that you're going on a whole mission. You're influenced by events. Don't you see that you're manipulated by just some outer thing that happened and now you think you're on a mission? That's crazy. And I'm not saying that I'm better than you because I'll get pulled in myself. Alex from California called in. He's saying, I'm not of that spirit, that fiery spirit that you and angry spirit that you and Mark were fighting. Mark and I were arguing. And that's a fair point. You want to be cool-headed, but you also don't want to fool yourself into thinking, oh, I'm this cool-headed, cold-hearted. I'm this cool, cold, spiritually angry crusader. This reminds me of Alex from California's call the other day. Let me show it to you. Here we go. Come on. And then I'll get to calls, guys. Hang tight. I see you. Some of you guys are on hold. Reacting. What is this? I can't read it from over there. Rejecting the truth because it sounds like the lie, which sounds like the truth, but it is a lie. This was from Hypocrite. Hypocrite. Who's interviewed JLP before? LP, the original G? Whatever. He shares a video of Christopher Hitchens from 2009 versus Keir Starmer 2024. And so let me show you this video. You're looking at it right now, but let me unmute. Hang on. Complicated business. Christopher Hitchens 2009 versus Keir Starmer 2024. He put 2004. But let me...
You can't complain.
Okay, you guys hear that?
Because you're Islamophobic.
Okay, yeah, nice. Here's Christopher Hitchens, famous atheist. He's not for the Muslims. He's dead now, but he's talking about... He's warning in 2009, which all of us knew this because they were pushing it ever since 2001. After 9/11, we can't be Islamophobic. So here's Christopher Hitchens.
Give it up or give it to your deadliest enemy and pay for the rope that will choke you. This is very urgent business, ladies and gentlemen. I beseech you. Resist it while you still can, and before the right to complain is taken away from you, which will be the next thing, you will be told you can't complain because you're Islamophobic. The term is already being introduced into the culture as if it was an accusation of race hatred, for example, or bigotry, whereas it's only the objection to the preachings of a very extreme and absolutist religion. Watch out for these symptoms. They are not just symptoms of surrender, very often ecumenically offered to you by men of God in other robes, Christian and Jewish and smarmy ecumenical. These are the ones who will hold open the gates for the barbarians. The barbarians never take a city till someone holds the gates open for them. And it's your own preachers who will do it for you, and your own multicultural authorities who will do it for you. Resist it while you can. And if you wonder what will happen if you don't, look and see how a cricket team in Middlesex in England had to change its name by force last week because it was called, and had been for years, the Middlesex Crusaders. Look and see how stories about little pigs can't be taught to children in English schools anymore, lest offense be taken by the religion of peace. Resist it while you can.
One of the things that is coming up over and over again is Islamophobia. And, well, you can see the stats, you can see the numbers rising, particularly since October the 7th. Although we shouldn't fall into the trap of thinking that before October the 7th, this was all heading in the right direction. It's been far too high for far too long. Clearly, we need to just say over and over again, Islamophobia is intolerable. It can never, ever be justified. And we have to continue with a zero tolerance approach. And I think there's more we can do in government. There's certainly stuff online which I think needs tackling much more robustly than it is at the moment.
What I'm hoping, Keir, is your experience as a prosecutor means you'll be thinking about the strategy we can use to make sure we take action against those who break the law.
That's an evil guy. You know what who just talked there? Okay, so the first guy that you heard with all that beautiful accent was Christopher Hitchens, famous atheist guy who's warning about the Muslims and this political correctness, and the establishment is holding open the door for the Muslims and POCs to come in and invade our countries, and you guys are just not sophisticated and polite enough. You guys need to be more polite. And then it has Keir Starmer, K-E-I-R, I think is his name, Starmer, who in 2024, who is the new prime minister. I liked him at first because he looks like a Chad white man, better than the Indian guy who's a billionaire, who's a supposed conservative. This guy's a liberal, male feminist, by the way, I think. And then he's talking to the Muslim mayor. Is this guy still the Muslim mayor? Shout out to the Muslim mayors of London.
Clearly, we need to.
This guy's been the Muslim mayor of London.
Again. Islamophobia is intolerable.
Intolerable?
It can never, ever be justified.
What are you talking about?
And we have to continue with a zero tolerance approach.
Zero tolerance.
And I think there's more we can do in government. There's certainly stuff online which I think needs tackling much more.
Tackling stuff on the internet. This guy, this Muslim mayor of London, I'm blanking on his name, it doesn't matter though. Kind of a slap in the face to, Rishi Sunak, so handsome, says Terry. Yeah, true. I'm blanking on the Muslim mayor's name. Pardon me. But just as this guy predicted, and it's an easy prediction to see because they've been fear-mongering about it forever. He could have predicted it back in 2001 or before that, because they've been talking about homophobia 10 years before that or more. I found it interesting because, yes, they are clamping down on the rights of the people. But Christopher Hitchens is warning against the religious leaders who are preaching that false peace, and false love. And there's a whole lot of this stuff about hate, don't hate. We fight hate for good. The ADL and others, the Anti-Defamation League. fight hate for good. And they're not fighting hate for good. They're fighting hate with hate, but they're pretending not to hate, but they are hating. And we all know that. But there is something interesting, because there is real love and real forgiveness and real lack of hate, such as what JLP preaches, such as what Trump arguably displays, such as what Jesus showed. Real forgiveness, real love, real power. That this worldly stuff doesn't matter. But there is the imitation of it. And since you're so used to hearing the imitation of it, you're going to dismiss it. Oh, this forgiveness stuff. Oh, love your enemy. That it doesn't mean I'm going to kiss up to them. Of course not. But why does your mind go there? Because you don't actually have the real thing. You've never seen the real thing, or you don't understand the real thing, or you're blind. So you're rejecting the truth about love. You're rejecting the truth about no hatred, about dropping anger, about forgiving. Because you're blind and don't see it. Because what? Out of order in my Odyssey chat. Rise up. What's that going to do? Nothing. It's going to just make it worse. How much worse can it get? A lot. Doing something is worse than doing nothing. It reminds me of what JLP said to the caller today. There was a first caller, I think, of the day, or second, or third or so. This guy got with some gal. Oh yeah, it was the first caller. Nice Oklahoma accent. I think he's from Oklahoma. JLP's to this young man. You'd be better off today had you never met that gal whom he's married and has kids with now. Oh, she answered all my prayers. You'd be better off having never met her. But you do something looking for a solution, and the solution is only creating more problems, because it's not a solution at all. Going out and rioting and protesting and saying, oh, you can't get away with doing this to one of ours. We're going to take 3 of yours. You take 3 of ours, we're going to take 3 of yours. Whereas there is I was watching this video from Booker T. Washington. It's not from Booker T. Washington, but it's from his book, quoting from his book. And he had this passage in his most famous speech. I think they called it the Atlanta Compromise. It's probably a derisive term for it. The Atlanta Exposition or something like that. These blacks expositioned something, showed something off, their work, they were busy. And he gave a speech. He gave a speech to whites and blacks. And he said, basically, you guys are stuck with us, and we're stuck with you. Blacks and whites, we're stuck with each other. 1/3 of the South is blacks, he said. A lot of blacks have their rights. They're freed from slavery, and some of them are trying to be in Congress and trying to get into politics and get into all this flashy stuff, become rappers, he said, become professional athletes, movie stars, whereas they should just be going to work, doing humble, good, manly work. And work with the whites where you can or where you have to. You're living among them, might as well work with them or cooperate. Cooperation makes it happen. Working together. What else can you do? And so he says, there's this story of this ship that was distressed. They're like, hey, we have no water. Give us water. And this other ship signals to them, cast down your buckets where you are. And they're like, no, no, no. And then finally they listened and found the bucket had fresh water in it. It wasn't salt water. It was drinkable fresh water from the Amazon River. And you have opportunities to work with the people that you're around, whether it's right that they're around or not. The reality is we are stuck with these immigrants and their children and their children's children. And you're better off making a deal, keeping your head down, living a quiet life, making the best out of it. Protecting yourself, of course, because they're not all good, nor are your fellow whites or your fellow blacks. You well know. But deal with it. I notice that hearing this message that he said, it reminded me of Trump. When Trump was dealing with all these ridiculous Black Lives Matter protesters disrupting his rallies back in 2016, he's all, what does everybody want? A good life, a good job, be able to take care of themselves, safe neighborhoods, a good life. I think I could talk with some of these people. And then he said, but some people you can't talk with. Some people you cannot reason with. He knows that. Booker T knew that. JLP knows that. Jesus knew that. But you'll find that you can just live your life. And you'll be better off that way, and then you'll be in a better position to fight, quote unquote, in the right way. Booker T's thing, I guess, I don't know if he agreed or disagreed with some of the discrimination stuff, but he was about making a life for yourself and then secretly funding so-called civil rights laws. According to them. It's like what JLP said. Right now, the laws are against the Christians. You better serve that gay cake to those gay so-called marriage people, unless you want to have to deal with the hard, evil hand of the law and the evil courts that are against you. If you want to do that and get in the media and have to suffer all that mess and disrupt your life, fine. But it's much wiser sometimes just to serve the gay cake and give the money to people who fight against these evil laws and hopefully get rid of the anti-discrimination laws. Just quietly do it the smart way. Then you can live your life and take the sinner's money and use it for good. Trump, let's make a deal. Jesus had not just Jews, but also Jews and Gentiles and everybody, JLP. You hear from people all over the world calling into JLP, including transgenders and Black South Africans, white South Africans, everybody. Appealing to all peoples without even trying. Reminds me of sometimes Trump tries. But Trump at his best, when he's just being himself, that appeals to everybody. That appeals to the halfway decent people who can see the realness in anybody. And sometimes Trump tries. He's like, kisses up to the blacks or the women and stuff like that, in my opinion, too much. But when he doesn't is when it's best, and that's what's won people over, the best people over anyway. It wasn't this artificial diversity stuff, it was natural. We have this artificial diversity, evil diversity pushed on us. Let it become natural. Because that's the best thing that you can hope for. I was arguing with Mark. He's like, what are we going to do? Pray. That shows that he doesn't actually believe in or understand prayer. Yes, pray. You better pray without ceasing. Then hopefully you can be led in the right way to deal with people rightly rather than picking fights and getting into fights and being easily provoked into fights. Like a blind, hot-headed Irish sucker. Irish male. Not a man. You know what I mean? So take advantage. There's opportunities all the time. Cast down your buckets where you are. There's fresh water. Anyway, let me get to some calls, guys. We're past 40 minutes here. I have Josh in Georgia who's on the line here. Josh, thank you for calling and holding there. Talk a little bit, and I'm going to have to unmute you. I think you might be this one. What's up? Hey.
Yeah. What's up, man? Can you hear me? Okay.
I hear you great.
Okay. Cool. I just got a new phone, man. I just got 5G.
Oh, good. I'm so glad to hear this because I was getting really irritated and sick of your piercing, messy, noisy calls on American Anchor Baby like a couple of weeks in a row. It was ridiculous.
Yep, that's the whole reason I bought a new phone just for the American Anchor Baby show.
Nice.
Just for his show in particular.
Right on.
But I didn't even buy it. If you switch, you can get a free phone. If you switch from carriers, they give you a free phone.
Smart man.
So it's a Biden phone.
Sweet.
But yeah, I didn't know 4G. I didn't have 5G. I had that phone for 4 years.
Wow.
Dude,
4?
Yeah.
40 years?
4 years. I bought it in 2020.
Okay. I wonder how long old my phone is. My phone's not that old, I don't think. Interesting.
Yeah, it's an LG phone. It was an Obama phone, bro. And I've been calling y'all all the time on that phone. It was an LG cheap $80 phone, and I had it for 4 years. So
interesting.
And yeah, that's why I just got this new phone. So I'm glad we're clear, man. But
cool.
Anyway,
it's funny because you sounded okay on the JLP show, but on Anchor Baby, it was awful.
Right, because he must be going through his little system. You know, it's a different number, and
indeed.
Yep. Yeah, and so that made me break down and get a new phone. So shout out to Nick.
Yeah.
But I was calling. I had a philosophical question for you, man. You know me, right?
Sure.
So, is belief the same thing as assumption, or is it? It seems to me like it's the same thing.
Oftentimes it is. Oftentimes it is. Like how most of us are Christians, right? I talked about Mark today, and I argued with him yesterday about he's all, I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus dying for my sins, and that's all, or whatever he said, right? And that's just, you're just saying that you believe it, and you were raised that way. You don't. If you really believed in Jesus, you would live by what he said and realize that what he said was true, and you would know what love your enemy means. But I don't think he does. I'm quite sure he doesn't. So so that kind of belief is assumption. Oh, I believe I'm going to heaven. But that's just you're just believing a lie. So that type of belief is assumption, I'm saying. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you're saying there is a type of belief that is not an assumption.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because, I mean, the Bible says to believe. So words can mean different things, you know? Because words are insufficient.
That's what it is. It has two different meanings.
More than that, but
same word. Yeah, more than that. 3 meanings, you know, sometimes.
Right.
That's what throws me off a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like I'm lying when I say I believe in God, but, you know, my actions don't always show that, you know, that. So it's like, am I, have you heard that verse in the Bible where Paul was like, I believe, but helpest thou my unbelief?
Paul didn't say that, but yeah, I know that verse.
Who said that? Yeah, well, that wasn't Paul. Or...
Some guy talking to Jesus.
Okay.
Help me overcome my unbelief, if I remember right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Helpest thou my unbelief, but I do believe. So that's not contradictory. That must be the type of belief you're talking about, where it's like...
Yeah, he's talking about both beliefs, you know, because he's like, he believes, but he doesn't, you know, he knows. So it's the conflicting doubt of most people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's the devil is playing in there. So like, I kind of just don't want to say I believe in anything at all, because I even don't know if maybe I'm lying to myself about it, you know?
Yeah, but you don't really want to get lost in your head like that.
Really?
Yeah, just talk normal. Like, yeah, I believe in God. Like everybody else. You
You
could be
think
like,
that's
I
the
believe
best
in God. Everybody, most people do. You know.
See, is that? But it sounds like a lie. It's like
Okay, well then say you don't. If it is a lie, say like, no, I don't believe in God.
That's like a big lie to say you believe in God, but not really truly know it, and maybe you shouldn't overthink it, maybe, or is
Right.
it, I don't know.
You feel
It's
bad
like,
saying you don't believe in God?
No, I just don't want to lie. You know, I want to be accurate. I do. I really don't. I don't know. I think that's the best answer, is to say, you know what, I kind of don't know, but
Oh, okay, that's
I'm a
fine.
Christian. Maybe I don't know is the most accurate answer, but
Are people asking you why is it?
like,
Are people asking you if you believe in God?
I mean, just Jesse that one a couple weeks ago. Remember, he was asking everybody that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Am I lying about that or not? But yeah, no one ever asked me that.
Right.
No one ever asked me. So maybe this is all for nothing. You know, maybe it doesn't really matter. But
Tabitha in the chat says it seems like the caller is making it way too complicated.
right.
You do go into your head a lot.
I do.
And you hem and haw, and nothing is stable with you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Because I just like I don't. Yeah, maybe I just shouldn't think. You don't even. Because I guess it doesn't really matter. But I like uncomfortable, like philosophical truths. You know, I like the.
Did you say philosophical?
Philosophical?
Philosophical. Okay.
Yeah. Like why does anything exist? I heard that's the most important philosophical question is, why does anything exist at all? You know.
Why is that important?
Because it's like it really affects how you live, what you do. It's the difference between you and Mark and Joe from Phoenix and everyone that calls your show with a different. But then again, I don't think no one can help that. That goes back to the free will thing. You were like, it depends on how you were raised and what experiences you had, and a lot of different factors. So maybe it's not even worth thinking about. Maybe, right? Maybe it is. You know, I don't know. Well, maybe it's like a thrill. Maybe this is like entertainment to me or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I think so.
You think so?
I was about to say something that you said, like you used to
What?
read Wikipedia.
I used to a lot.
Right.
Right. That's a bad habit, isn't it? That's like.
I mean, it's
like-
it's fine, but it's just a pastime. It's just
a vice.
It's
is what
vanity.
It is. It's a vice. It's like reading the newspaper, you know, like what Denzel in that movie, he was like, this is a newspaper. It's 90% bull crap,
Whoa.
but it's entertaining.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's 90% bogus speech, but it's entertaining.
Right.
Right. That's how everything is, I think.
Yeah.
You know? I think everything is like that, but I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
I think
don't know. And you were just saying it in your monologue. You were like, "Oh, focus on things, and what you focus on seems important."
Right.
But
I
it's
don't
not
know.
like that Sonya Massey thing. Like, it's not important. No one knows. No one cares. We just get a thrill out of it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's entertaining.
True. I think
like
that's the
sports.
case. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. So.
But it's cool. I mean, I do respect you. Even though it sometimes sounds like it doesn't, like I don't, because based on what I hear you say that you do, that you try to be quiet, take quiet moments. So
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know if I should be respected. You know, I don't like compliments. I kind of like. I want to. Well.
By
yeah, I don't know.
that I just mean that that if you stay with that, maybe you'll snap out of this other mess that you have like this messy mode where you just hem and haw.
Yeah.
And you're all
And
into
it's
something
like,
that doesn't really, I don't know, it's,
that doesn't matter.
yeah.
I think,
And you think it matters.
Yeah, I see that. I see that, and I see it as like I could be into other stuff. I could, but I don't know which one is worse. I could be into,
No, it's not that
other stuff that's worse.
How
You know,
about
it's not bad to like? Okay.
How about not be into anything?
Right.
It just seems like a man is not a man has fewer words usually.
Right.
And
Should be thinking.
Isn't doesn't really hem and haw, and isn't really just sticks with what he knows, and doesn't try to figure out something that he doesn't know. If he doesn't know, he knows that he doesn't know, and just leaves it at that, and just keeps on moving forward. And stays has quiet so that maybe he can realize something, and the wisdom is oftentimes quieter. I mean, you know when you want to pass on wisdom, that's not how it works. You're better off. You're better off. You do others and yourself better being quiet and not thinking and figuring stuff out or being into anything.
Right.
It's like what I mentioned with that guy who found that girl who answered all his prayers on the J.C. Lee Peterson show. I'm sure you heard it if you listened to the first hour.
I haven't heard it yet. I haven't listened to the show. I'm about to listen to it as soon as we
Okay, well,
I haven't heard it yet.
Listen to that call because she answered his prayers, and then JLP tells him, you'd have been better off if you never met her.
That's crazy, man. Stuff like that is like...
Because you get your whole life direction changes based on what you focus on and what you're into, and it's not even... God's not in it.
Right.
And you're not in God.
Yeah, and that's another thing. You don't know if his life would have been better off. You know, maybe he would have gotten to something else. So that's kind of... I may disagree with Jesse. I may call Jesse about that and disagree with him on that. You know?
Well, check out...
You don't know what...
But being into something versus being into something else is not the... That's a false dilemma.
Uh-huh.
Because what's more distracting to a man than a woman? Not much.
Not much, man. Everything revolves around. You know, that's probably like why I haven't bought a house, because I don't have a woman. You know, I think that's the only. Have you ever heard that before? That's the only reason men take out a 30-year mortgage. The only reason you do it is for a woman.
That's funny.
Or somebody, or if you have kids, maybe you need it if you have kids already. But it's all about a woman, you know. So
interesting.
I
don't know. A house could be a good investment whether you get a woman or not.
Right.
They say a man should own land.
They say it, but it's a lot of scams nowadays, and we got high taxes. Not with the taxes nowadays.
Oh yeah.
It isn't worth it with the insurance and all the stupid maintenance. You better know how to maintain it and work on stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's what only makes it worth it.
Or be able to afford somebody to take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, you get with service nowadays, is you got to learn how to do it yourself. Because I don't trust, all services down. But
nice.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't want to yap too much, man.
I appreciate it.
This was interesting.
Thanks as always for the call, man. I like hearing from you. I appreciate you, man. Take care.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Thank you as well, man.
Bye. Aman in India on the line here. What's up, Aman? How are you doing, man?
All is well. How are you, Hake?
I'm doing well, too.
I noticed something. I mean, I noticed it like 2-3 months ago, but I only remembered it now. And, have you noticed, everybody that is spiritual or a pastor and is closer to God, their name always starts with J. James Hake, Joel, Jesse Lee Peterson, the person named Job, Jesus Christ. And I'm here should I change my name too? I don't want to be left behind.
No, man, that's crazy. That's a crazy thought. You're worse
No,
than
like,
you're
like,
worse.
seriously,
You're worse than Josh from Georgia.
but seriously, like, it's just not a thought. It's like, it's a pretty coincidence, you know? Everybody starts their name with J, who's closer to him.
That's funny.
So should I change my name to something with J
No,
or
because
something?
none of us changed our names. So why should you change your name?
But I want to be closer to him like you, all of you.
I know, but it doesn't matter what your parents named you is what your parents named you.
Oh.
You're silly.
But it's still like,
And,
you know,
and
like,
also, you're in your head.
don't
You don't
wanna
know.
take-
You don't know me,
I mean, your name starts with J,
right?
and you are near Jesse,
Right. A lot of people
and
are
you
near
are a
Jesse,
Christian believing in Christ.
and so are you, right? Or you're not.
Yeah,
Okay. So then, what's the problem?
my name. That's
Your name is not your problem, man. Your head is your problem. you
So
get
it won't
you
change
get
anything, right?
You get all these cockamamie ideas in your head.
Yeah, I hope it's only an idea.
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay.
What makes you think God cares about you being named Aman? He knew that you would be
No,
named.
like,
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think probably he gave me it.
Yeah,
the
I mean,
name
you're in
too.
India. Don't be. Are there any Indians with J names other than?
Yeah, it's a meme here, James. It's a meme. Like, anybody that says, oh, I'm a pastor, the other person says, like, oh, wait, hold on, let me tell you. You are from here and your name starts with J, and another guy, like, how did you know? It's a meme here.
It's a meme.
Yeah, like, it's like everybody just laughs at it.
Okay, interesting. No, whatever. Do what you want, but I definitely wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't change it. You've been
So
Aman
you
for
don't think
24
like,
years.
it matters, right?
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hope not.
that's funny. What a crazy person.
But it's a like, I don't know. Well, anyway, that's all I want.
Interesting. Yeah. So stay out of your head. You're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you,
Hopefully.
Aman.
Thank you, Hake.
Yeah. Take care. Bye. Oops. Nice guy. Tim says, I like that guy. Speaking of Tim, he gave a Cash App tip before I get back to calls. I will get right back to calls. Tim Scott, the real one, not to be confused with the Rhino, gave a Cash App yesterday, and I missed it. But it was right after the first hour. Handled those calls with class and rationale. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. The real Tim Scott, not to be confused with the Rhino. Thank you, sir. And Jaime from Minnesota bought a coffee. The best way to get out of your head is to do the silent prayer so that you can see yourself. I like to even separate the words. Speaking of crazy, right? I like even to separate the words. I split my infinitive. From your and self. Meaning your self-separated from you. Because it's, what you're looking at is mostly the evil selfishness, which is not you. It's not godly. It's not God-given. The Bible talks about selfishness, right? Selfish, being all about the self, which is not you. It's not what God wanted you to be. Duh. Nice. Thank you, Jaime. And he continues, and to forgive your parents for messing you up. He says, S. You. Crewing, say. Ooing, scray, you. And apologizing for being angry. Easy, says Jaime in Minnesota. That's kind. Thank you, Jaime in Minnesota. Appreciate that. What's up? It's me, Xenia, monthly subscriber on the Bond crew. Nice to see you. What is up? Is that pink stuffed animal also a hand puppet? No, I mean, you could be like, hi. What's up, people over there in the IG crew? and the Facebook crew. What's up, Jonathan, over there? Space is not morally straight, says somebody. Terry. And hello, people on punchy.tv/Hake. I sometimes don't check you guys out. And let me just double check over on the D Live crew. What's up, GG Cash and Groovy Monkey? Thank you guys for the lemons. I should acknowledge the redheaded stepchildren of the D Live crew more frequently. Thanks, guys. Mark in Los Angeles is on the line. Mark, thank you for calling and holding there, man. Appreciate you calling back here today.
Thank you. As far as yesterday goes, I just want to say I stand by everything I said.
Nice.
Furthermore,
I do too. I stand by everything I said too.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm here to speak for the white Christian majority, something you'll never be. And I want to say that I stand by what the English people did.
What did they do?
I was in their hearts. I'm with them. I don't support criminality, but I can understand why they did what I did. But further than that, and more than that,
what did they do that you stand by, though?
Pardon me?
What did you do? What did they do that you stand by?
Attempted to bring justice to these criminal invaders that have no right to be here or in England. Okay? And furthermore, when you look at the people who are patting you on the back, whether it's by phone or by, comments, you got creepy commies like the strange one and some other moron, Le Chateau, who hate white people. One's a former communist. And then you've got your friend and co-host in Phoenix patting you on the back. Yeah, all the evil white haters loved what you had to say yesterday. I'm defending my race.
Tim Scott is not an evil white hater, and he supported what I did, how I handled you.
He's a fool. Then you can tell him that he's a fool.
Tim Scott, Mark from Los Angeles called you a fool. But Tim Scott supports me, and have you ever donated to Hake?
Oh, so it's all about the money.
No, answer my question.
I think I sent a check in to Bond.
Oh, nice. Right on.
Okay, but that's been a few years ago. But you're not going to buy my sympathy.
I'm not trying to buy it. You're supposed to buy mine.
Oh, well, okay. But how does it feel to attack your own white brother and get praise from the white haters like Frederica, another low IQ white-hating Negro? He wrote complimentary things about you. I heard what your snake rat friend in Phoenix had to say. How does it feel to have Satan backing you up?
The same way it feels to have Satan against me.
Well, I'd rather have Satan against me than backing me up and praising evil.
Satan will back you up, and he will praise. He will. Wait. Let me respond, man. Satan will both back you up, and Satan will turn on you and criticize you. And I got both yesterday.
Well, you definitely got Satan backing you up.
Yeah, and he's criticizing me.
But what I would like you to think about, and those liberal commies in the peanut gallery, is to imagine the last minute or two of those three little girls who you've completely forgot about.
Right. I forgot about them.
Imagine what their lives were like in the last minute or two of their lives. Imagine the hell they went through.
Key word, buddy. Imagine. All you can do is imagine, because you don't know. You weren't there. It's not reality. Imagination.
Come on, you don't have to be a genius.
It's not reality.
Imagine what it feels like to be stabbed to death.
What's the point?
I don't care. I'm going to use that word whether you like it or not. I got to relate to the audience.
I know. You're relating to them on an emotional imagination level.
Oh, that's right. It is, and I'm proud of it.
You're proud of your hell.
No, I'm not in hell.
Yeah, you are.
The people that support you on this issue are Satan's children. I hope they're listening.
So are the people who are hating me over it, which is you. You're Satan's child too.
I don't. I think you've got good in you, but you're blinded by this pacifism.
No, but it's not pacifism. It's not pacifism.
You would have never survived the Christian Crusades.
How do you figure?
wouldn't
I would
tolerate
have survived it because I would have been home working.
Well, you wouldn't have been a crusader. And what
You don't
they
know
did
whether
with
I
the
would have been a
vote-
crusader or not. You don't know.
Not with your attitude.
You don't know.
Well, I've heard you speak.
I know, and
you're a
you're
pacifist.
all in your imagination about it.
No, I'm not. I've
What's a-
heard you
what's a
speak with your own
pacifist?
words.
And what did
Pardon me?
I say? Did I say I'm a pacifist?
You actually did. It
When?
came out once.
Oh yeah,
don't know, a couple
I
weeks
slipped
ago.
into said it just because I was arguing with you. But have I
Well,
ever
but when
said
you
seriously
say-
in a sober moment have I ever said I'm a pacifist?
Well, no, you won't admit your sin. I
How-
understand.
Wait,
that.
what have I said that suggests anything like that?
Oh, okay. First of all, I pray. Okay, and I believe my prayers are every bit as good as yours. But when I mentioned those 3 little beautiful white girls who were murdered by a fat,
One of them was Hispanic.
Pardon me?
One of them was Hispanic.
One of the victims?
Yeah.
Well, even so, it's still evil.
I didn't
he
say it
did.
wasn't.
No, I know, but I didn't know one was Hispanic.
Yeah.
But I do believe
I
that
think-
in the last moments of their life, they went through hell that you couldn't imagine. That young a person, nobody cares about them, though.
Nor do
We're
you.
concerned about some witch named Massey who deserved to get shot. We're all supposed to be concerned and crying over that. She had it coming.
I
These
never
little
said that
girls
she.
didn't.
Nobody cares about Sonia Massey. Nobody cares about those little girls. They're just.
I do.
No, you don't. You're just.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's. Do you care about that little? Do you care about that woman who was dismembered? That black lady who was dismembered by the white man.
Well, I don't know the backstory on that.
But you don't
they
know the
were racist.
backstory. But you don't know the backstory on the little girls either.
Well, they were innocent little kids at a school, I understand.
I get that.
What could they have possibly done to deserve that? And
You
furthermore,
only care about this because it was hyped. You only know about it because it was hyped, and you only care about it in your imagination because it's part of the culture war against whites. If it wasn't part of the culture war against whites, you would not care, nor would you even know about it. Don't you see how you're manipulated?
no, I'm not manipulated. I'm praying for the white race. Are you? If you are, that's about all you do, which is good. And I'm not going to criticize you for that.
Uh-huh.
Your heart's in the right place, but you're not. You would never be a real Christian like those crusaders. Those were the true Christians in history. And who did they fight?
I have no idea
Israel.
whether they were true Christians or not.
Well, look it up. Read the history.
That's
They
not going
fought
to. The
Israel.
history is not going to tell me about their hearts.
Well, the problem is the history is going to be slanted against them, unfortunately. But the truth is, it all boils down to the fact they kept Islam at bay.
That's
You know,
nice.
this cancerous poison
Right.
that's spreading in the U.S. and Europe now, this cancerous poison called Islam was defeated by our white Christian crusader brothers. And they didn't pray their way out of it. They didn't say, oh, let's have prayer and hope for the best. You got to fight fire with fire. There's nothing unchristian about having to use force to keep the peace.
That's why you have a military and why you have men running towns and states and federal governments.
Yeah, but unfortunately,
And then when
in
you
England
and then you
in
have
this
and then you
country-
have men who are acting security in places so that you can prevent stuff from happening, hopefully. And then you have men making decisions on the policies, kicking the people out if they don't belong here, putting them in jail if they did wrong, doing the death penalty when appropriate under proper justice and order.
None of that's happened.
None of that's happened, and none of that will ever happen, and even less so will it happen with you supporting these riots.
Well, I support the idea
I
of
support
trying
their,
to get justice for the murder of 3 innocent little girls.
but an idea doesn't do anything. Them
Well,
going
no,
crazy.
my heart is with those guys in Britain.
I know,
The
but that's
people
it.
that died.
Mine is too, but it's a meaningless statement.
It's not a meaningless statement.
Yeah, it is.
The way it sounded to me, you were condemning our brothers yesterday.
For doing wrong.
They didn't, as far as I'm concerned, it's justified. If these Negroes can go out and burn down cities and police stations over a creep named George Floyd, then I don't see anything wrong with white folks rebelling in the same way.
See,
I
then
don't
that's
advocate for it.
I
don't.
know exactly, but what you just said says they're doing wrong, so we get to do wrong. I've never been for the blacks going crazy, and that has done no good for them or anybody. It's done worldly good for the people who are getting their fake worldly power over it, and they're getting DAs in offices to undermine the law, but it has done no good. And likewise, it will do no good for the whites or for anybody else to be overreacting in the way that you're supporting overreacting.
Well, actually, if I had it my way, for example, the George Floyd situation, if we had enough white men with backbones, we would have been out there with our guns in the streets protecting businesses. I'm not advocating murder. I'm not advocating violence.
There were some white men. There were some armed white men protecting businesses in some of these areas.
Yeah, but not enough.
I know, but
we should have been out there as a race defending from these demons. But again, the Islamic cancer.
I know, but the problem is there's demons among the whites. There's demons among the whites. There's demons in you. There's demons in me. There's demons in people, and it's gonna prevent them from acting in the right way. They're not gonna be as disciplined as you and I would hope.
But I think you should think about this, though.
Yeah.
Every one of your people, I'm saying your people facetiously, but every one of your people that supported you yesterday in our talk hate the white race. Does that make you feel better?
It's irrelevant to me whether they support me or don't support me. Yeah, it's irrelevant because you can't base whether you're right or wrong on who's supporting you.
I think to a degree you can.
To a degree you can be like, okay, this is interesting. This is a switch. I get you. But in reality, whether I'm right or wrong, they support me doing that because I'm going after you and they hate you.
That's it.
But that doesn't mean
work.
But it does. I'm not doing their dirty work. I'm not doing dirty work. You don't. You're not calling it. I'm not even. Listen to me.
Indirectly, you're supporting that murderer in England. Indirectly.
Not even remotely. Not remotely.
By attacking our white brothers who try to take vengeance out on the devils who nested this creep.
Does the Bible say?
Indirectly supporting what he did.
Does the Bible say, vengeance is mine, says the Lord, I will repay?
Is that what the Christian crusaders said to each other before they killed the Muslims?
Answer my question.
Repeat it.
Does the Bible say, vengeance is mine, says the Lord, I will repay?
Okay, it does.
And so when you go out trying to get vengeance, do you think God is behind you?
In this case, yes.
How so? How do you figure?
Because what those devils did was inhuman, to stab 3 little girls. And for you,
why are you saying devils when it was one?
Look, the people that supported him and gave him a place to stay, they're just as evil as he is.
It was his parents.
And let me tell you something.
It was his parents.
Right after we spoke.
No, we're not getting away from this. You made the claim that they got vengeance, and you supported their trying to get vengeance.
Well, they didn't get vengeance.
Yeah, but they were trying to get vengeance, and you support them trying to get vengeance, and you think God is blessing. How is God blessing them?
No, I'm saying God bless them.
Right, but you're saying it in vain. You're taking God's name in vain, basically, because you're pretending that God's going to bless them, and God's not blessing them.
Well, I don't know. What's yet to be seen.
It's quite predictable that they're going to get not blessed. They're going to get jail.
We'll see.
They're already in jail. What do you mean we'll see?
Wait a minute. You thought that Trump was going to go to jail.
No, I didn't.
Is he in jail?
I never thought that Trump was going to jail.
Well, a lot of people that hate the white man were
Trump did nothing wrong. These guys clearly did something wrong.
And neither did those 3 little girls do anything wrong.
But I'm talking about the guys who overreacted.
They reacted in the spirit is what I'm talking about.
The spirit of God or the spirit of vengeance?
No, I'm with them in spirit. And for Alex to call back yesterday and said that wasn't the spirit, what the heck is he talking about?
Because he's not overreacting like you and I are.
No, he backed down real quick.
No, he didn't. How did he back down?
He said when he called you yesterday, he said that he didn't say it in the spirit that I brought to the conversation.
Yeah, because you're overreacting and I was overreacting. We were fighting.
You were.
And he's not.
Well, you were in the wrong, though. That's the difference.
How was I wrong?
Right.
But
because you thought our white brothers should be held accountable when they acted out to get revenge on Satan's children.
Right, because they are Satan's children too.
Pardon me?
Because they're Satan's children too.
They are Satan's children. But let me just say this real quick.
No, I'm talking about the whites. The whites overreacting are Satan's children.
Not at all.
Yeah, huh?
Let me just say, well, I disagree. Let me say this. Right after we spoke yesterday, I was going through the internet, and they had an Imam, one of those big shot Muslims, talking. And I thought about you right off. He said, this is his words, not mine. He said, when they take over the West, they're going to come in peaceably and try to convert us. If we don't take the conversion, they will kill us. Furthermore, this century, the 21st century, is going to be when Islam gets its revenge on Christianity. He was referring to the Crusades. That's what we're dealing with. And you want to pray your way out of it. Good luck.
When have I ever said I just want to pray my way out of it?
Well, that's basically what your theory is.
No,
you have no plan to save the white race.
There is no saving the white race.
Oh, there is.
Nope, there's not.
We had many men who tried.
And they failed.
Satan was against us.
They quite predictably failed.
Yeah, because Satan, in Satan's world, black people have privilege and white people have no right.
Cry about it.
No, I'm not lying about it.
No, I said
Just
cry
look at
about
what's
it.
going on.
I didn't say you're lying about it. I said cry about it.
Well,
then you agree with me that there's no saving the white race with your little plan.
Well, you never know. I mean, Lincoln Rockwell almost did it.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, not even close.
Had he not been assassinated, he would have been president in 1972.
Yeah, right.
That was his prediction, to be president and say, okay, you want to demean the man, and he
I'm demeaning your tall tales.
No tall tales. What am I? Tall tale means lie.
You're in your imagination. You're like, oh, Lincoln Rockwell would have done it. This time we're really gonna win. Please.
No, I don't know. I didn't say that.
Yeah, because you're acting like Lincoln Rockwell almost won and he didn't.
Well, he could have. He was killed.
Exactly. This is what happens. Whites get killed.
So was Jesus killed.
Right.
Well, what does that mean?
Because you're pretending like the white race is going to win. The Jews thought the Jewish race is going to win by Jesus.
Well,
so you're in your imagination. It's a spiritual battle, and you're all caught up in the physical battle.
Wait a minute. Let's go back a minute. You said the Jews. Now the Jews, they've tried to take the Jews out for centuries, and they've failed. Not that I'm, defending them. It's just that you said the Jews, the whites, I don't know your exact wording, but basically we're doomed to fail. Well, the Jews have survived. The Arabs, our German brothers, they've been able to survive all these quote-unquote disasters, and they've made it. So why can't the white man?
What's that loud scratch? Somebody get Bill for me.
Pardon me?
Oh, I'm just arguing. I'm just complaining about a technical issue out here. There was a loud scratch that pierced the headphones listeners' ears. Has nothing to do with you or me. It's just a technical issue. You're making a lot of noise there, Mark. What you doing over there? You moving?
Well, there's a truck going by.
Oh.
Hold on a minute. He's almost by.
Okay,
this
so
is a very noisy place where I live.
My point is, it's a spiritual battle, and if you don't win the spiritual battle first, then you're not going to win the physical battle.
Well, let me just say this to that.
Yeah.
If the white race becomes a minority, ball game over. These people don't know anything about Christianity except
Don't you hear
JLP
saying that every day?
Saying what?
Saying that he's very concerned that whites are becoming a minority. It's over.
I love Jesse for that. And when people talk about me about being a racist, don't forget my favorite black people were Marcus Garvey and Elijah Muhammad. They were anti-communists. They were for separation. So those were righteous black people. And neither one were Christians, by the way.
Right.
Well, Garvey was a Muslim, and so was Muhammad.
Yeah.
But Malcolm X, he's out of the game because he turned his back on Islam, and I don't put him up there.
Malcolm X?
In that category. So.
All right, well.
You're still a good man. I think there's hope for you. But, I'm going to call you out when I think you're wrong.
Okay.
And you were dead wrong on Britain yesterday. Like I said, just think of those little white girls in the last few minutes of their lives.
I know, but that's not really going to do anything. That's just going to make me mad or sad. It doesn't do anything.
Well, it'll maybe wake you up from this idea that you have to be a pacifist to be a Christian. That's baloney.
Okay, well, you that's your name for me. I don't even know what that really means. But
Well, it means you don't want to take action. You want to pray your way out of this disaster. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
I think you're being over dismissive of prayer, for one. And
I pray every day.
Okay, well then you would not be dismissive of saying, "Oh, we're going to pray our way out of the disaster."
It'll help you, but it's not going to save you. Prayer alone. If prayer alone was that strong, we would never have had wars.
I know, but you lack.
There would
Listen
be
to me.
no
Like
crime.
my whole
There would
issue
be
with
no
you is
disease.
my issue with you is that you lack wisdom. You're too hot-headed.
Well, that's a personal observation, but it doesn't
Right.
make me wrong about anything.
It makes
Doesn't
you
mean what I'm
wrong
saying.
about a lot because you're thinking that these people are right to take vengeance, and that's not right.
Well, that's a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
I
All right.
mean, okay, last thing.
Yeah.
When they lynched people back in the 100 years ago when these blacks were lynched, if the black man raped a white woman and if those people lynched him, are they of Satan, or do they just mete out justice?
It depends on the situation. Some of the
I just told you that.
Wait.
The black man rapes a white woman.
Uh-huh.
The white men find him and they hang him. Are they justified?
I would prefer they do it the proper way with the courts. I think it's better to do it with the courts that you know for sure whether they're guilty or not. I get that they didn't trust the courts then, just as we can't trust the courts now. I don't know. It depends on the circumstances. If they knew for sure that he was guilty, then it might have been justified or not. I don't know.
Good enough.
Yeah.
You're a great man, Hake. God bless you, and I'll talk to you again.
All right. Thank you, Mark in Los Angeles. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. What a mess. Mark always sparking a bunch of calls, guys. But first, let me read a super chat here. I see one from the Z one. Nice old man shirt. Liar! You turn 43 and start dressing like Bob Barker. Is that the Price is Right guy? I only know that from Happy Gilmore, which I didn't really see that whole movie, and I disavow it. But that guy is the guy from Happy Gilmore, whatever his name is. This is an overestimate, but he's my 13th favorite Jew. The clan meeting fights are great this week. First it's CJ versus Mark. Now it's Mark versus you. Mark is a little girl, says the Z1. Speaking of which, both you and him needs... I can't say this word. Female things. Because you both seem like you're on your... I can say periods, right? Periods. Alex is evil like you as well. So says the Z1. Raymond Levin threatened to lynch me a year ago, but now you ban him. You are not a Christian. I don't know anything about that. Some people say some things, and I'm not responsible for what other people say. But I banned him because he was too messy. He's too messy. Raymond Levin. Although I think we might be buds on IG. Amazing Asia can't invite you to the cookout because she doesn't know that she's black herself. Dark white girl. I don't like you, James. I hate Zenny. What? How do you hate Zenny? Zenny's like the nicest Christian young man ever. That's ridiculous. And Mark is hilarious. And also Zenny is a breakdancer. Nobody can hate breakdancers. I think he's a breakdancer. Finally, you're not supposed to love anyone, according to JLP. This does mean blah, 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 blah. Says the snake. The snake. Z1. Unban Marcus Jones, you weakling. Unban me if you want, but I know you're too scared and sad to do so. Have a good day, liar. I'll never forgive you for messing up my Twitter, which I did not do. I did not do. I did not mess up your Twitter. I forgot that you are on Twitter. Even though I would see you in my Twitter live video. I'm live on X. You guys know that? But yeah, I did not report you. I don't... Whatever. Boo, Hake, free Raymond 11. He's getting at least a month off because he's a mess. Raymond 11 is a mess in the chat. And he went crazy. You know, when you take action, whether you're right or wrong, they prove you kind of right. You know? It's like a breakup. A breakup, sometimes the people turn nasty and unmasked. The mask off, how ugly the demons come out. And that's what happens. I've demodded some people and they get mad and turn on me. And whether I was right or wrong for demodding, I don't know. Whether I was right or wrong I'm pretty sure I was right to ban Raymond 11. He was overboard. Or leave him banned because, spoiler alert, my chief mod, who founded silentprayer.video, by the way, I will add, he's contributed a lot to Bond in terms of energy and providing links and tips and being a good mod. Raymond 11, what has he done but get on your guys' good side, the fellow snakes in the snake pit, and been funny, which is nice. I appreciate that. I like it. I don't know if he's ever supported. Oh, yeah, you guys are... I said he has to donate $100 each to each of the hosts, and you're like, that's extortion. Has he supported us at all? Has he ever supported us? Oh yeah, no, I don't keep Marcus in the chat. I banned Marcus, but Marcus wasn't as explicitly vulgar. Although he did turn very vulgar. And Marcus, too, proved me right. When I banned him finally, he kept on coming back with all these accounts and being nasty and gossipy. Raymond 11 did the same thing. You just unmask the demons. But yeah, I mean, I would love to bring Raymond 11 back someday. But I doubt it'll happen. But it's called the snake pit, and it's accurately titled. Jesus called you, being evil, know how to give good gifts to your children. How much more will the Father in heaven take care of you? He called you evil, and you are evil. Most of us are evil. So, nice. Right on. So it's not even personal. I kind of like him. It might sometimes get personal because I don't like some of the stuff that he tried to pull afterwards. But oh my goodness. Let me show you guys one more quick thing. This is along the lines. Here's another. I'll click another super chat. This is a little thing for you guys. Oh my goodness, what in the world? Here we go. All right, this is from spoiler alert. Here's a little meme in the theme of Mark from Los Angeles. Together we will make this country yours. And it's a white British cop, and it has a Muslim imam saying, "Thank you for being so weak." He probably has a knife in the back of the cop too, by the way. British cops. Indeed, indeed. Let me take me off screen there for a sec. Isn't that nice? So heartwarming. The Mark thinks I'm pacifist like that. I don't think he thinks that I'm that pacifist, but I'll be like the Christian who will criticize it from my little show, but try to keep it politically correct so that I don't get banned, and I'll just pray about it. But you gotta, if you work with the Muslims, even some of the Muslims, a handful of them, will love you and become Christians, or at least Christian-friendly. Nothing better than a Christian-friendly Muslim or a Christian-friendly atheist, right? Stefan Molyneux, anybody? Christian-friendly atheist. So thank you. Spoiler alert, that's nice. Cast down your buckets where you are. You could be, anyway, whatever. It's irrelevant. We got to keep it moving. Like I said, we have a bunch of calls. We're at a half hour till. Catch Joel Friday TV coming up next, guys. I think that he is coming up next, so let me set up the redirect. Joel Friday TV will be here on YouTube and Instagram. Oh, I don't know if he's scheduled. Is he scheduled? Somebody let me know, lest I forget. Not yet. Okay, he's not scheduled yet, but do check him out. He will be live. I have faith. Okay, calls of Air and Sea. Aaron in Utah. Thank you for calling, man, and thank you for holding there. What's up?
Yeah, no sweat. Yeah, I just have to call in to just wholeheartedly support Mark. I do. Don't get me wrong. I do love all you guys. I love your channels, etc. But I just have to say, like when it comes to your chat and stuff in your audience, when I first discovered this channel, I'm like, oh wow, some more base people. This is cool. But for some reason, all of a sudden, when it comes to action, you guys just really frown upon it. You snare and you snicker. People who do step up and, put it on the line to make a difference. The whole thing to me is just really weird. I truly don't understand it at all.
But you are a former activist, right? Why did you stop?
I mean, things. I'm not going to say that I stopped. You never stop waking people up to the truth.
No, I'm not talking about waking people up. I'm talking about action, going out there, showing your face, and being in your face, and being an activist, and protesting, and even possibly rioting and fighting out there. That's what I mean. Why did you stop that?
I simply stopped because I moved to a small town. I'm just prioritizing other things, career, family. In the meantime, it doesn't mean I'll never get back to it, etc. But could you explain to me? I still don't understand. Like, you're almost like you don't approve of like the basic self-defense principle. The men in the UK
Not true.
Reacted that way. I'm sorry?
Not true that I don't approve of the basic self-defense principle. I'm all for self-defense.
The men in the UK are that's self-defense on a societal level.
No, that's not.
How is it not? I don't understand.
You said trying to make change. They're trying to make change. What change are they going to make by overreacting like that, rioting?
Oh, that's easy. Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. I remember you asked Mark yesterday. Yeah. So when you could liken it to like an individual level, like a bully, when they keep trying to step on you and walk on you and, mess up your country, if you stand up to them, it's definitely just going to make them think twice. I remember yesterday you asked Mark, you're like, what good has ever come from a fight? What have you ever gotten from a fight?
Right.
And it's like, well, actually a lot of, one second, I have to go by. One second. So, yeah, you can get a lot of positive. I just remember when I was younger, I grew up in that really toxic thug culture. And I remember that you had to stand up to people. So sometimes you had to fight to defend yourself. And, after you fought someone, sure, you may not have came out on top or got anything for it, but at least that person knew to kind of leave you alone.
Right.
And that's how I view activism.
But there's a right. Is there not a right and wrong way to stand up, and a right and wrong time to fight?
Okay, so I've noticed that.
Yes or no?
People that,
first.
What?
A right and wrong way to stand up, and a right and wrong time to fight.
That's not a yes or no, because that's up to each individual's interpretation.
No. No. Is there or is there not a right and wrong time to fight, and a right and wrong time to stand up, and a right and wrong way to stand up?
I'm going to say no, because that's impossible to guess.
So there's never a wrong way to fight. There's never a wrong way to stand up.
Stand up to a bully? No.
There's never a wrong way to stand up to a bully.
Could you define? I don't understand. Again, you guys in your
For example, okay, there's this bully, and you go over and you shoot him. Is that the wrong way to stand up to a bully?
I guess it's the wrong way.
Okay, so then there is a right and wrong way to stand up to a bully. There is a right and wrong way to fight, and the right and wrong time to fight.
So the men in the UK should have done what?
I don't know. I'm not there, but I know that for sure that...
No. Okay, I've noticed that. Okay, can I...
No. Hold on.
Okay.
Are they right for trying to burn down the hotels?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, you bet.
How so? What good did that do?
Because it sends a message to the rest of the Islamic invaders not to, it makes the place less welcoming. It makes them portray the area as being more toxic, less comfortable for foreigners to come and set up shop and walk all over their country.
What good did it do the whites?
Again, those kind of results long term. I mean, again, other people see those people acting courageous, and it kind of catches on.
That's not courageous, man.
It's hard to measure activism. Its effect long term. But again,
has white activism made it harder on the whites?
I don't believe so. No.
Yes, it has.
No.
Charlottesville.
Well, that was like a psyop, probably some people say. But
Charlottesville. So Amador was part of a psyop. He wasn't real.
Again, I don't know. That one's a complex one. You have Richard Spencer, who is definitely like a certified shill involved with that. A bunch of other characters. But even if it wasn't, I still don't see how.
So how do you know that this? How do you know that this UK riot is not a psyop?
Again, you and your audience, you're just going to say that about everything. Like
I'm not saying that. You're the one who said it was a psyop. No, you're the one who said. I didn't think that Charlottesville was a psyop. I thought it was mostly whites who wanted to support whites and people and Americans who wanted to support America. You're the one who said psyop, so I'm asking you if UK could be a psyop, since you think that Charlottesville was mostly a psyop. Because clearly whites are suffering from Charlottesville. Whites are suffering.
How are we suffering? How are we suffering?
They're getting prosecuted. They're getting arrested to this day.
Stuff they're going to do anyway.
Right.
They're going to be anti-white anyway, right? So if they're
but if you don't give them, why give them the excuse? You're giving them the excuse. So you're saying, they're gonna go after you anyway. They would not have gone after Amador had he not been part of Charlottesville. They would not go after the January 6ers had they not been part of the January 6th thing.
Right. So those individuals, they put it on the line. They sacrifice their comfort and well-being
for nothing,
for the like of others, right? And that's something we should snare at and say,
for no good reason.
Do that.
I pointed out that they're suffering for it. It resulted in no good.
You're saying personally, like legally, they're suffering.
Right.
That's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Anytime you step up for something right, you're almost always going to face some form of persecution, especially legal. That's just how it goes. And something else I'd really
then why are you sneering at me, saying they're doing it in the wrong way?
What are you talking about doing it in the wrong? I don't understand. You guys always try to draw up these.
Because I'm not for burning down a hotel that houses migrants. That's insane.
I don't see how. It's a defense mechanism on a societal level.
You don't see how burning down a hotel is an overreaction?
Want to come there in the future? You don't think less migrants will want to come there in the future?
That's a fair point. I grant you that point, but it's
right, and it's insane. The point. That is the point.
But it's not the point, because you're only going to result in more suffering for your own community and your own self.
Hey, war has been declared on European, countries with a European majority, regardless. So to sit down and do nothing is not going to solve.
But
anything.
that's not the dichotomy. You're just saying sit down and do nothing. There's other ways to do it, and I don't know what those are. But
right. Okay. Well, firstly, you're making an extremely crucial mistake here. Okay.
What's this?
And again, you know, I used to do activism with some of them boys. Okay, I've noticed.
And you did, and it did nothing. It resulted in nothing but anger.
Absolutely false. Absolutely false.
It's absolutely true.
Nope, absolutely not. You keep giving these takes to Mark like it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. Who in the hell are you to talk about the measurable effect of something? Our movement, back when we started doing it several years ago, now like naming the Jays like mainstream, and that was the only goal of that click. Okay, it was naming the Jays.
Right, and what good did that do? It's just more anger.
There's like millions of people talking about it on like X and
well,
stuff
good
like
for,
that.
Well, good for you. You're still losing your country. You want an applause? You want a medal?
Okay, so
your country is still gone.
So the first step of saving your nation is to wake people up, and you're saying you shouldn't.
But that's not waking people up. You're not actually awake.
Right.
You just have more. You just have more knowledge and more anger over this knowledge. You're still puffed up, thinking that you're awake, but you're not awake.
it's not anger to self-defend. If someone comes up here and slaps me right now talking on the phone, I'm going to defend myself.
I know,
That's
but
not
burning down a
anger. That's
hotel is
all
not
this other
defending
silly
your
crap you guys
society.
talk about. I'm sorry, what?
Burning down a hotel is not defending your society.
You just admitted. You just admitted a second ago.
I admitted on one level you might make some people feel unwelcome. But
the point. That's the point.
All right.
When people come where I live, they might see a bunch of Confederate flags, okay? Maybe it makes them feel unwelcome. Maybe the locals, okay, maybe they get down like that because that's the point. That's the point. But again, I still don't understand the absolute cowardice mentality. And here's the thing, and of course I am talking to you, but however, you're someone, you put your face out there and you talk about things, you stay based up. I mean, your life's, you kind of take a risk to a degree. You're an activism to a degree, I would say. You're an activist. And so, like, you take a risk. I commend you for that. I think you're an outstanding, fantastic person for that. I wouldn't scorn or snare at that. And if something unfortunate happened to you in the legal system or elsewhere, I wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, Hake, he should just stayed home and did nothing, you know?
But I didn't say they should just stay home and do nothing. I said they should have been wiser in how they acted.
Well, here's the other issue.
Yeah.
I notice with activism, people always criticize and say, oh, man, those guys are so stupid, man. Look what they're doing. I don't like the way they're doing it.
Right.
If people can do better, then their goal is to step up and show us better. If someone's trying to fix a problem and you say, you're an idiot, what are you doing? And then they say, what should I do? And you say, I don't know.
Right.
That just doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense at all. And
but listen. There's a time to do something and there's a time to do nothing until you do know what to do. Because you see the white society on decline because it's under major attack and it's on decline from within too. And you're like, I got to do something. And so you do something, but you do the wrong thing. So I'm encouraging people not to be in a panic so that they know what to do in the wise and right and strong way, rather than be hot-headed and riot and destroy their own town and think that they're justified potentially murdering people by setting a fire, and because that's not justified. I get that you say, we're in war, but we're not actually in war. It's a quiet, undeclared race war. It's a revolution that's anti-white, and you're giving them the excuse to clamp down even further on the whites, and you're saying, oh, they're going to do it anyway. You're giving them the excuse. It's just like the blacks. The blacks have this self-fulfilling prophecy. The cops keep killing us. And so they overreact and pick a fight with the cops. Say, oh, he was going to kill us anyway. You're the same as the blacks.
No, I can counter everything that you just
said.
If you look
let's hear it.
If you look at the left, what they do is successful. Guess what? They did burn down a bunch of cities. They did get policies passed. The defund the police, all that stuff. Their goals seem to be getting accomplished by them acting a fool. It's my side.
Do you know why they get stuff done by acting that way?
Oh, because they raise hell. Yeah, sure.
No, that's not why. Because the government is evil and it's already on their side. The government is evil and not on your side. So all your activism and stuff, yeah, you may be spreading the word about more people are talking about the Jays, but they're still angry and they're acting just like the Jays.
No, they're not. I
yeah,
don't see how. I mean, the only way to counter a problem, you have to defend yourself. 3 little girls get stabbed in the UK. Again, on a societal level, defending themselves with your mentality and this sit home, do nothing. Oh, don't be full of hate. Let's all just be happy. All this silly nonsense. The founding of my country would have never taken place with your mentality.
And maybe it shouldn't have.
Yeah. See, again, you dive into these philosophical crap. No, really. I mean, you sit there, you praise Trump. You talk about.
Don't you think it's interesting that Trump would have negotiated around the Civil War? Had he been there, he would have tried to prevent the Civil War from happening.
He's just a silly man. He ain't gonna do that. He's just a silly goofball.
You're not answering my question. You're chasing a red light called Trump, rather than answering my question. Don't you think it's interesting that Trump said he would have negotiated around the Civil War? Let's make a deal. We have to have peace. People's lives are better with peace.
Right. And in order to get that peace, a negotiation would have had to take place. But that negotiation, both sides would have had to give and take, right?
Right.
So, again, there's still a conflict there. There's still an issue there.
I know.
There's still a conflict.
Exactly.
You have to do something. Look, and again, look, I took an oath. Maybe it's different. Maybe you're just preaching whatever. I took an oath to the United States. Okay, it's the only oath it's the only thing I did take serious while being in the military. And again, I do love this country. And again, it wouldn't exist if a bunch of people were sitting around with your cowardice mentality. I'm sorry, it just wouldn't have happened. Mark's correct about the Crusades.
This is nothing like the Crusades, though.
Yeah, you keep saying that. I remember yesterday.
Do you know that the establishment? You think that rioting does something because it works for the left? That's ridiculous. You think that you bring up Crusades, but the establishment, which I've already said over and over and over again, and then I got to get going, is any comparison to what's happening today? And the Crusades had the establishment leadership for them.
True. Okay.
Yeah, and so you're thinking you're going on a little crusade, but you're just really a bunch of hotheads.
Maybe the crusade is not the best example. Again,
exactly.
From an activism standpoint, those people
from a tactical standpoint.
Those people. Okay. Again. Here's the issue. Again, you're still not quite grasping.
And the reality of the situation is proving me right because the whites are losing. Every time they activist, every time they riot, they lose. Every time you overreact, you lose.
Sometimes you have to fight, and sometimes you lose. I get.
No, it's not. Sometimes you lose. Every time the whites in the last 100 years, 150 years, you could say, every time the whites have overreacted, they've lost. We lost the Civil War. We lost with the so-called civil rights stuff. We lost with Obama. We lost with the alt-right. That was fizzled out real quick. We lost with January 6th. And they're gonna lose, and it's quite predictable. And you know I'm right in England.
Absolutely not.
Yes, absolutely so.
No. Listen, every example you just gave. Okay, sure, the Civil War, lost, or you could say Third Reich law. However, because those events took place, there's plenty of people that are open to, especially people that study history, that see like what really happened, etc. They definitely I see Confederate flags all over the place. So you can say they lost, the ways, but not really, because there's still a mentality there. There's still a notion that it still kind of exists. You see what I'm saying? So no, you don't get to be the one that measures these results. Oh, it didn't benefit anything. You're not the one that gets to make that call. History will decide, of course, long term whether it was done in vain. But you yourself, you're
admitting that you don't. You're admitting you don't know that this is doing any good.
Oh well, if you're talking about the specific example of the rioting and
burning down hotels.
I just know activism now out where I live. I mean, it's like every fifth person I run into now knows about the Jays, man. It's like mainstream. It's out there. I look back at my activism, and it's something I'm proud of. I do not regret it one bit. Sure,
you're not a spiritual person at all. You're a blind person.
How? Right. I'm blind because Hake says so. I should just not have a spine, not have a backbone, staying at home praying, and just focusing and worrying about myself, because it's all about me, right? Who cares about the service of others? I should just stay at home, just focus on my life, and that's how I'm just a great Christian, a great human. That's my understanding.
Yeah, you have no clue.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
just a blind, arrogant, full of yourself person.
America wouldn't. I'm not full of myself.
Yeah, you are.
Not at all.
You're totally full of yourself.
Hey, listen, your show's extremely based. You're very cool. Okay. I do. There's a lot of things as far as a spiritual leader. Okay, Jesse. There's quite a few things he doesn't know. However, in a spiritual sense, okay, you guys are cool peeps. Okay, I don't want you to think I dislike you. I'm not full of myself. I'm not talking down to you. Again, you put your face out there more than I do. I commend you over myself. Okay, much respect to you. If someone, let's say someone, one of these callers that gets disgruntled with you, let's say one of the colored callers who you tend to poke with a stick sometimes. Let's say they were to take you out, or something like that. I wouldn't just. The lesson from that for me, as a man, would not be, you should never speak out against things.
I got to run over and see it. We've gone over this. I appreciate it, man. We're coming to a close. And we've been talking for 20 minutes. Take care. I appreciate you. Call me again.
All right. Remember, Hake, I'm going to continue to be Captain Cook.
Nice.
And you can continue to be Captain Cook, all right?
All right. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Oh, you got me with the click. Guys, Joel Friday TV is allegedly coming on next. This is what we need to be. Stephen Wiley. Stephen Wiley, Colorblind.
When I was a little kid growing up in the world, don't you know I was my mother's girl? I learned about love. I learned about life, when to run.
And when to fight.
I learned some things I didn't understand. How a man could hate
Another man.
Not because they've ever seen each other hate, simply because someone's
Color. What's it? Okay. Joel Friday coming up next.
I knew a guy, he was a friend of mine. He wore polka dot flats, purple and lime. I asked somebody, what's wrong with the brother? They said, Tyrone,
he can't see color.
You must be kidding. Look at that outfit. Wearing that at night, he won't get hit. But the more I thought, I began to see, colorblind is where we need to be.
Colorblind.
There's no need to see.
Colorblind.
It's where we need to be. No matter the race or color of skin. If you judge by
Joel, it's not working.
God calls it sin.
Let me try again. Give me permission to redirect.
Way back since the beginning of sin, people have judged by the color of skin. I don't know why it happened that way.
Oh, there we go.
Sad thing, it still happens today. That's why I'm saying it's got to cease. Or there ain't no way that we can live in peace. The longer I live, the more I see. Colorblind is where we need to be.
Colorblind.
There's no need to see.
Colorblind. It's how you need to be. No matter the race or color of skin. If you judge by this, God doesn't call it sin. Does he? Sorry, but there's no such thing as a colorblind society.
At Jacob's well, Jesus said one day, Samaritan woman came his way. Jesus asked for a drink, but she had to think, now what dealings have I with you? And Jesus said to her face, it's not a matter of race, but a matter of love and of God's grace.
That's
Don't
right.
draw from the well dug by men. With my living water, you won't thirst again.
Hey.
There's no need to see.
Colorblind.
It's where we need to be. No matter the race
Piercing my
or
ears.
color of skin.
And there's nothing that we can do about it.
Judge by
Right?
this. God calls it sin.
Is like there an input into these?
Colorblind.
Colorblind.
Think how simple. Think how great.
Stephen Wiley, he's a Christian
If
rapper.
you couldn't see colors, we couldn't see hate.
Hey,
My
spoiler
prayer
alert
for
found
you
it.
is that in time, you too become
Colorblind.
colorblind.
It's definitely what we need to be. It doesn't matter what race or creed.
Is this?
What matters is together we're living. The question is, what are you giving of yourself to your fellow man? Help him out. That is God's master plan. For all of his flock, this nonsense has got to stop.
One day real soon, we're gonna see everything I'm a rapper will come to be. We'll stand at the throne of the great
1990,
The lion gonna lay
I think.
right next to the lamb. We'll be one land, we'll be one nation, we'll be one people, God's creation. Let's get together and start the celebration. Okay. Go.
Colorblind.
There's no need to see.
Colorblind.
It's where we need to be. No matter the race or color of skin. If you judge by this, God calls it sin.
Rhythm and Poetry, 1990.
There's no need to see. Colorblind. It's where we need to be. No matter
Rap,
the race
R-A-P, Rhythm and Poetry. If you judge by this.
God calls it sin. Colorblind.
What a nice message. What a mess. Look at this poor sick animal. Adios, America. Joel Friday coming up next. Thanks, guys. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. Bye.